Good evening and welcome to On the Line. And I'm your host, Britton NewOne. Before we get into our show tonight, let me remind you, you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter at On the Line TV Show. Now tonight, you will really want to chime in with us and follow us at hashtag Watch On the Line. This is a live feed tonight. This is a first for us. It's a live feed because we're really like delving into a conversation, a topic tonight that's really going to touch everybody, because everybody's been in one. And we're talking about relationships tonight. Tonight I have with us, I'm bringing back a return guest, Mr. Anthony Jordan, who's going to grace us with his presence tonight and talk about some things. And also we have Mijah Watson, 20 years old and amazing. As a matter of fact, let me start here with Mijah. Mijah, thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you for having me here.
Now, Mijah Watson is 20 years old. She's a young entrepreneur. She's an activist. She does some daycare work. She educates our young kids. And for me, you know, my show is geared towards the empowerment and uplifting of our youth. So I'm really honored to have one of my youth here that's doing some amazing things. So thank you, Mijah.
Thank you.
Now, Mijah, we're going to be talking about relationships tonight. But before we do, let me give you an opportunity to talk about some things that you're interested in and some things you're doing, because you can go in detail as to who you really are and what's going on.
All right, well, I'm Mijah Watson. As you have said, I'm a Hebrew Israelite.
Okay.
It's becoming very popular throughout the music and today's social media, and that's who I am. That's who I've been before it's become popularized, and I feel like it's important for everybody to know that, because when you know that, then you know me.
Okay.
You know how to approach me, and you know certain things I can do and I can't do, and that ties into my child work, because that's what I'm interested in, teaching the youth about, you know, how to live the right way and how to, you know, refrain from having premarital sex, different things like that. So that's pretty much what I'm about, just working, taking care of my family, doing what I can just to make a positive impact on my community.
That's great, Mijah. So what I'm hearing from you is that, you know, basically your religion, and it is a religion, or is it a way of life?
It's a way of life.
It's a way of life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so your way of life is really your foundation as to how you're going to navigate your way through life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you get a lot of criticism from youth that are around your age today? Some of your peers.
Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm.
Every day on social media. When I was in school, I used to get picked on about it, but you know, it just makes you stronger.
Okay.
It really does. It just makes you stronger.
Okay. Well, I noticed that your hair is not locked up, and and you know there are some misconceptions in all religions, and one of the opinions is that your hair has to be dreaded up and locked up. At least early on in my development, meeting some Israel people like that, I found that they've always had dreads. So, is that the norm or?
Well, that's there's a lot of, you know, what do you call skepticism, or you know, like stereotypes.
Exactly.
Just like there's different kind of Muslims, there's different kind of Christians, there's different kind of Rastafarians, there's different kind of Hebrew Israelites.
Right. Okay.
So you know, everybody is different.
Okay.
You know.
So just for the record, what kind are you?
I'm a Torah-based Hebrew Israelite.
Okay.
Put it like that. There's some that's New Testament based. There's some that are considered Rastafarians, but they're still, you know, affiliating themselves with the Hebrew Israelite community. So I'm a Torah-based, Old Testament-based Hebrew Israelite.
Great. I'm glad you defined that, because I wanted to give our audience a view of what the Torah is. You know, the Torah is the Old Testament.
Yes, the first 5 books of the Old Testament.
Exactly. And that's great. Let's shift gears a little bit here. are you interested in, what kind of activities are you interested in outside of, some of the things that we talked about already in terms of children? Are you into sports? Are you into modeling?
I love sports.
Do you really?
Yes, I love the Cavaliers.
That's my girl. That's my girl. She all right with me, y'all.
I have no sisters. I have all brothers, so
Yeah.
my house is always a sports house. So I love the Cavaliers.
Okay, that's my partner.
I'm tired of football. We did football.
It's over already.
Yeah.
Huh? It's over
Yeah.
already. Okay,
Yeah.
I can dig it because I'm waiting on some Brian myself.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta pay him back from last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you ever get an opportunity to take your kids, the younger kids, to sporting events? Is that something that you might like to do?
Well, actually, we have a trip coming up soon. I'm a part of the sisterhood group in my Bible class, the House of Israel,
Right.
in Bond Hill. We're taking the youth class to the Black Violinists, and they're coming on October 17th. So we're about to do that.
That's gonna be hot,
yeah,
girl.
yeah.
That's gonna be hot. That's all right.
Yeah.
You got a beautiful smile too.
Thank you.
Anthony,
Yes.
glad to have you back.
Thank you. Glad to be back. Honored to be back.
This is one of my oldest and dearest friends. Y'all hear me always calling somebody my oldest and dearest friend. That's because I got a lot of old and dear friends. I'm old.
Include LeBron.
So, stop it. So, Anthony is the co-owner of the Better Restaurant. You might have seen the truck around town, particularly when they had the boxing downtown on Fountain Square, Punching for Peace. He was down there posted up. He was feeding everybody. He was getting it in. He's got some great food. He's a great chef. I watched this guy persevere and learn his craft, and he's learned it well. He's very gifted. Anthony, what's going on now with you and your restaurant?
Just the truck, like you mentioned. The truck is new. It's 3 months old. I'm learning the truck. The truck is learning me.
Mm-hmm.
And just trying to be the best person I can be. Try to help. Try to have the truck not be a money sucker from the community, but a asset to the community.
Great.
Just whatever I could do. A lot of collaborations with people like you. Punching for Peace, Children's Hospital. Council on Aging. Just being there.
That's
just
fantastic,
being there and
man.
just. That's what the truck's for. That's what God gave me the truck for.
So what's going on with the other restaurant, Inventro's? Tell us a
In
little bit
Vito
about
is just, you name it again.
Mhm.
The same thing. Job and Family Services. I actually picked up I'm actually getting ready to sponsor a professional athlete. This guy's doing. He's a professional boxer and MMA. He's professional in both sports. Vito is actually getting ready to sponsor him.
Fantastic.
But the truck, Better Restaurant, is actually getting ready to sponsor a 60-day weight loss challenge.
Right.
And we trying to put the people together, get the two people to commit with their time and their effort, and we'll sponsor and document two people on a 60-day weight loss program.
That's fantastic. How important is it, Anthony, for you to be in the position that you are now to really give something back to the community? We had kind of like a rugged past, and where you are now. How important is that?
Oh, that's first. That's first and foremost. That's at the forefront because, like I said again, a lot of times from my past I took from the community. And I didn't realize that I was actually taking from a lot of people who put a lot of effort to give. So now I'm in that position, and it's my duty as first of all as a man, a human being, to put that out in the atmosphere. Give back, show that it's not about money. It's not about what I can get. It's more about what I can give, because God gives me everything I need and then some.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Tonight's show is, as I said earlier in the opening, that we're gearing this show around relationships. Look who's talking. but we're talking about relationships tonight. One of my dear friends, again, Mr. Tracy Graskin, he chimed in. You know, I kind of threw it out there to the community. If you got a show idea and you want to be involved, because I like to involve everybody. This is keep it on the line, and keeping it on the line, we involve our community. So the brother, he chimed in and he asked for a relationship show, and so I thought, well, who better to bring on than Jordan? And Nahamani had mentioned you to me. So what I wanted to do was get both perspectives, a younger perspective, particularly from the black female, a young black female, because we got so many of our young girls out there that, you know, are kind of confused as to how to proceed in relationships. Okay, so I kind of wanted to get into that and kind of ease into that. Tonight we're going to have some call-ins. We're going to have some questions coming in from our Twitter feed. And so I'm going to throw those questions out there so you guys will get an opportunity to ask those. But let me ask you, Anthony, where are you at today in relationships?
Sing.
I'm going to get in your business. I'm going to get in your business now. I'm going to put you out there.
Today I'm single. And you know, my relationship right now is with being an entrepreneur in the businesses, but intimate relationship is always in the back of my mind.
Right.
I'm just learning how to learning how to date. You know, go out on a date. You know, talk, get to know each other. You know, not just meet and we look at each other and we say, oh, we're going to be in a relationship, go to sleep, and then try to figure it out. You know, and I've done that, you know, time and time again, only for it to end up in disaster. Somebody once said to me one time, they was upset about something I had did, and she said, however I found the relationship or however I started, it's the same way it ends.
Exactly.
And I've been... You know, I've listened to it and I heard it, and now I'm finally, you know, living by it.
Right.
You know, so it's right now as a single man, entrepreneur, busy. You know, I got to be careful.
Right.
You know, I got to be careful because
I imagine so.
Yeah, I got to be really, really careful. Not, you know, like I'm all that, but just careful.
Right.
You know, because there's a lot on the table.
Yeah, right, absolutely.
You have to protect yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. What'd you say, Maya?
You have to protect yourself.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, expound a little bit on protecting yourself then in relationships.
I mean, you have to set a standard for yourself. If you don't want to deal with certain things, then don't answer the door.
Ooh, this is a 20-year-old.
If you don't want to.
Yeah,
she's
like
right.
That. I like that.
Just because it's on the table, you don't have to eat it. You know?
That's right. You're absolutely right. You become obese, you know, when you do. So, how scary is it? For you, Anthony.
Honestly, I don't know how to say it, but I don't think it's scary for me. I think it's actually scary for the other person.
Okay.
I think it's actually scary for the other person because I know what I want.
Okay.
I know what I'm willing to deal with and what I'm willing not to deal with, and I don't have no problem about voicing my opinion about it. I don't know. I just, you know, I mean, I went on dates, you know, and, you know, to leave them, just kind of, right now, it's more about friendship. Let's build a friendship first. Let's build a friendship, and if we can build a friendship, then maybe we could build off of that. You know, I don't want to go on a date hoping that it ends in a relationship.
Right. You know, I'm married. And I found, though, but I can think back before I was married and when I was out seeking someone to share my life with or to be with, you know, it was difficult for me, you know, because the higher up you go, the more that you achieve, the more difficult it becomes to be in a relationship. And again, not that I'm all that either, but, you know, I found sometimes that I would be rejected based on how I look. Not that I look bad, but because it looked as if I should belong to somebody. I've heard that before. You know, have you, and I know you're only 20 years old, but what do you feel about that?
Well, about being married?
About people with preconceived notions as to who you are coming into the relationship? If you, particularly in the early stages of dating, or trying to get into that. Well, let me ask you, how do you get into dating?
I really don't date as much as people think I do. Like, a lot of people
They
think
you
like,
do?
yeah, like a lot of people do.
You fine, girl.
Thank you. I really don't. I just like to be friends with people.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't consider dating if we're not going out, we're not making like any kind of ties with each other, like financially, like a little bill. I don't consider that dating.
Okay.
I consider we're just friends.
Okay, so you mentioned the finance. So how important is that in a relationship for you at this point in your life?
For me, it's a big factor, but it's not the determining factor.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Absolutely.
It's a big factor, but it's not a determining factor. It's a big factor because if you're just sitting around all day, you're not doing anything, you're not going to school, you're not going to work, we have nothing really to talk about because you're not doing anything.
Right.
You're just sitting there. You're just there. So, you're just going to be sitting there in my life. You know what I mean? Like, you're just going to be just sitting there, or you're going to be like, okay, like, let's come together, let's do this. And then when we see this happens, we're like, okay, well, let's do this. And we build from there. But if you're just sitting there, I'm not going to be bothered with you.
Great answer. So, Anthony, let me pose a question to you. How important is status in your life when determining who to date? I know you're single, but I'm quite sure that you probably seen someone that you wanted to date here and there. So what's your criteria?
Sanity.
Sanity.
Number one, it has to be the sanity of the person is of the utmost importance to me. Everything else is after that, we can work with it. Okay. If the sanity is gone, it don't matter if you a billionaire, if you sleep in Bentleys, it don't matter.
Yeah.
If you crazy, we gonna have a hard time.
Do they have a crazy test out there? I think,
we need to develop one.
What are they?
Yes, we need to develop one. We need a relationship psych evaluation.
Okay.
Yes. Can you pass this test?
Yeah.
Before we date, and at the same time have that lie detector band around to make sure that you're telling the truth. It's rough.
Yeah, it's rough. And I think what I hear you saying is that the representative always shows up.
Ooh.
You
ever seen what's the one movie Tom Cruise was in? And I think it was Mission Impossible. And he had actually dressed up like the other guy. And when he was escaping, he did like this and pulled off the mask.
Right.
Yeah. Because it was really Tom Cruise. And he had on the mask of the other guy. And that's how he got away.
Right. Okay.
I've seen that live.
Okay.
I've seen that in person.
That's rough.
Yes.
What about you, Mike? Have you been surprised and thought someone was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't have to finish that. You said.
Yeah. And so, oh man.
Right.
I can relate to that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of guys, they're one way in the beginning. And they're cool, you're friends, but then when you're like, oh, I'm Hebrew Israelite, I don't, have sex before marriage.
Right. Oh, all bets is off.
Flip the script.
Yeah.
Flip the script.
Not opening the door for you no more. None of that. Shippery out the window, huh?
Yep.
Okay.
And then there's some, they're like, okay, all right, and they deal with it for a while, and then they're like, oh, they eventually move on to somebody that's going to do that, like a guy.
So what she's saying is that you're saving yourself for marriage. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing's wrong with that. That's great.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, I used to get made fun of for it. Like, I've actually had, like, girls in high school tell me, like, oh, I die. Like, how would you die? I'm not dead.
Mm.
Like, they would die. Like,
They would
what?
die if they didn't have sex.
Yeah. Like, people really, like, have actually said that to me. I'm like, what?
Okay. Now, let's get back, and I want to get back to this. And I'm really not trying to make fun of people who we tend to call crazy, because they're really not crazy.
No.
I think what happens is that the expectations, and you guys can help me with this. You know, I think that people come in with expectations, and later on, after accepting you how you are, some people, and I've known this to be true, that they think that, okay, I can change him, or I can change her. She gonna give me some, you know, in their minds. And this is part of the expectations that they probably have. And this is where the crazy comes in, I think. You know, because once you realize that that person doesn't meet your expectations, then all hell breaks loose. Have you seen it that way, Anthony? I mean, help me out here.
For me personally, I don't think. First of all, they're crazy, and let me go back when I say crazy. I don't want to say crazy.
Okay.
I think what happens is it's things that have accumulated before you and that person got together. You know, it's like in China. What might be normal to you might not be normal to me.
Right.
Now, Monty can take a picture of us right now standing in front of the courthouse, and it's normal. But in China, you can't take a picture in front of the courthouse. That's a crime.
Right.
So I think that's what happens in relationships. People come up believing, you know, have beliefs like that,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get together and your beliefs clash with their beliefs, and nobody wants to give.
So, are you saying that it's cultural?
Yeah,
Okay.
nobody. I don't think it's cultural. I think it's an individual thing. You know, it's family to family, person to person. I don't think it's cultural. Nobody wants to give. If I'm in a relationship with Mijah and I really like Mijah and Mijah said that, I'm cool with it. I'm going to adjust because I like Mijah. I know this is important to her.
But
And I know at the end, she gonna put me on a pedestal.
okay.
Because I was the one guy that waited.
But hold on now. You know this is on the line, so I got to keep it real. So you know, as an older guy, that's an ideal statement. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
I think that you know our years has taught us that it's you know it's probably to our benefit to give and take. You know, we learn how to give and take,
Right.
to share. But for that young guy
No.
that's 20 years old and that's filling his oats, I don't think he wants to wait.
No.
I think that he's in the locker room and, you know, and his buddies are talking about the little girl that they had and, you know, and all this sexual drive is just mounting up and, you know, my girlfriend is Mijah and, I mean, that's going to be a little difficult. Wouldn't you think so for the average 20-year-old?
Yeah.
For the average, you know, but you deal with guys who are basically have a foundation. That's what you're looking for. You have a criteria,
Mm-hmm.
and that's great. So you know you got something to judge by. But for guys like in our age group, oh my God, I know. I wish I would have waited 100 years ago.
Right.
You know, there was a guy that played basketball. It was AC Green.
AC Green.
And AC Green was in the NBA, and how old was he when he finally?
AC probably was 37, 38 when he left.
Yeah, when he
They say
finally
he
had
played for
sex.
him.
Well, when he
Yeah.
finally had sex
Yeah.
and got married, I think he was a much older guy. He was well up into his 20s, probably his
Yeah.
early 30s. So he stayed celibate for quite some time. Listen, this is what's going to take place. We're running out of time for this segment, and so we're going to do. This is going to be a two-part series. So we're coming back with part 2 of this show. But I want everybody out there that's like in Twitter land to like stay posted, because we're gonna come back and we're gonna do our second segment that'll probably view shortly after this one. So we want you to stay tuned. We want you to stay on the line. We want you to get those questions, talk to, kick it around the table, write them down. Hit us with something, y'all. Hit us with something. We want to answer those questions. We're talking about relationships. We here live on the line with Britton NewOne Carter. I got Mijah with me, and I got my main man, AJ. And I don't mean AJ Green. Although he should be feeding AJ Green because he's got some dynamite food. AJ, if you pick up on this, get with him, man. Get those, it might help us win a few games. So before we end this, why don't you tell us how we can get in touch with you? Give us some way to contact you.
Everybody can follow me at capital BAG_LADIE on Twitter.
Great. And you, Mr. Jordan?
And VitoPersonalChef.com and A Better Restaurant 123 Facebook.
Okay. Anything coming up here in the near future? I know you talked about the Black Violin.
Yes.
Okay.
And also, I'm in the works of planning some clothing drives for the winter.
What?
Yes, for the homeless.
I need something.
Yeah.
And what about you, Mr. Jordan?
November 4th, Dayton, Ohio, PBS and Think TV, cooking demonstration, Think TV.
Think TV. My man. Hey, you got to catch Mr. Jordan. You got to get out there. You got to stop that truck. You got to get you something off that truck, and you got to keep your eyes open. Stay on the lookout for Mijah. She's dynamic. She's exciting. She's going to be one of our community leaders. Look out for the little sister. This has been Britton NewOne Carter, and this is On the Line.